Hi everybody, I'm here like usual. Today I came to a revelation. Food tastes good, and when you need food, you should probably eat it. It's become commonplace, especially in North America, for the population to go to some fast food, most parts of the world even. In the US of A alone, there's like 20 to 30 well-known chains found all across the country, but of all of them, there's a shining beacon that we all know, and that is McDonald's. You know what it is. It's a burger place with some stuff, some other stuff that isn't burgers. They got a breakfast menu, specialties. There's a reason it's #1. But like, as I get older, I just get confused, you know? It might be my taste buds getting a little tastier, changing in preference with the knowledge and wisdom attained from my palate, figuring out what I like eating, but in part because of circumstance, I've started to especially lose any justification for coming here anymore. Now let me tell you a story as to why I'm debating the loss of quality of McDonald's, especially today. When I started university to further my education, I moved roughly 150 miles from my home. I went from a well-populated town to one of the largest cities in my state, and to say the least, it was a wild transition realizing what I've been missing out on. The closest Chick-fil-A used to be a 45-minute drive for me. Now it's 5. I went from any activity requiring a decent drive to having a sizable amount of things be walking distance. One thing I've done out of habit just to eliminate hassle for picking food with other people is I've made a tier list of all the fast food places, so it's easier for me to know what I want to get in the situation that I'm with a group and know what sounds good. Though usually I quite like going to local places when I can, just for the variety. It means a lot to me. There's a lot of good food out there. Highly encourage trying something new when you can. But in my original list that I made, I had McDonald's placed at the very bottom of A tier. It's safe enough, it's common enough, and it feels good knowing that in most situations where McDonald's is chosen at the menu of choice, I'd be perfectly content. And very rarely do I think I've ever really gone to a McDonald's alone, let alone voluntarily, with one exception, and I'll get to it later. Now, when I moved, I got exposed to a lot of places I could never really go beforehand. Panera Bread, Steak and Shake, Qdoba. Oh, I like Qdoba. But it went the opposite way as well, namely considering McDonald's. In a 20-minute drive, I have 4 of these places on standby, which is crazy to me. But the furthest one is pretty typical. I've only gone once. The second furthest is fine enough, I would imagine below average. And then the other 2, they are the worst ones I've ever gone to, like full stop. Let me clarify though. The furthest one, the only one above a 3.5, the other 3 barely have 2 stars with online reviews. And let me remind you, going out of your way to leave an online review in negativity is hard work, and you always got to remember, online reviews typically only happen when a worthwhile horror story shows up, and you need to let the public know. But like, these ones were just horrible for everyone. The one downtown is literally almost abandoned. I don't even think it's safe to go to. It's like between 2 one-ways. You need a miracle to even get into there. But the closest one, the main one, that one's also awful to get into. It's on one of those freeway checkpoints America's infamous for, when you get off a highway, with a whole bunch of gas stations and foods and retails all slammed together. I've gone here in person. I've been offered DoorDashes. I've only ever gotten cold fries, watery drinks, disappointment. I shit you not, one time one of my friends got a frozen patty, like not even a bit. It has 2.1 stars for a reason. But that's just the food though. That's just what happens when you trust high schoolers over the summer to make your food and hope you don't die. So I always just took it as this place independently owned by a franchise. Surely there's got to be a few bad McDonald's out there. That's impossible for there not to be. And then I remembered for a moment, like, what makes McDonald's special to begin with? And I was just thinking about how they've changed across the 21st century. It fully just feels as if this place has truly fallen off. Now, that's not to say that growing up is a variable of it. You look back at some of these locations and wonder how clean those play places really were, or how those vibes have shifted. It's no secret that McDonald's main vision has transformed. They don't exist to keep you there as long as possible. The intention isn't to keep you there to enjoy your time there, for getting some extra bucks out of you, or giving you the chance to make some weird secondary memories in day-to-day life. No, instead it's more just like they do not want you in that McDonald's. McDonald's has especially transformed into a place where they want you gone as fast as humanly possible, and that's fair. I actually agree with that. Most fast food places aren't the greatest to sit down and eat at. They're called fast food for a reason. You take that food somewhere else and enjoy it there. Maybe like at home or a friend's place. Maybe you're on the road and you gotta grab some food. You go to where you know. But in turn, they are now as miserable as possible. And when you have to sit down in like a Wendy's or a Subway just to wait or to do something or to hang out with a friend, spend, it doesn't feel good. So now I just have a lingering guilt entering any of these places with the sticky floor and ominous stock photos hung up on the walls as decoration. Maybe a little entertainment corner that's a cheap attempt to replicate an iPad. I hate when places do these little entertainment tablets, by the way. Like Olive Garden has them, and I have yet to see anyone use them. You know, the ones that are just like the cheap screens with a few mobile games slapped onto them. Any kid who would be interested in that already has a tablet or Nintendo Switch or something. What are the point of these? It's just sad, and in a sense has successfully done what it sought to do, almost dystopian nowadays. I'm not even considering the food itself in the instance. It feels inauthentic, though it's marketed in a way I couldn't quite describe further. Like the social media, them bringing back McDonald's land, the Grimace Shake, the silly memes. It's cool enough, I guess. It's just that no matter what, I go back to feeling a little guilty for the folks who work inside these places, especially nowadays, where I can imagine them only feeling lifeless and swamped with online orders and that one beeping sound. I don't know what that means. Please enlighten me if you worked at a McDonald's what that beeping sound means. I'm genuinely curious. For context as to why I'm asking, little choopo origin story reveal, but I worked as a shopping cart return person slash utility at this retail place that's prominent in the Midwest. It's called Meijer, and for that reason, it's why I made shopping cart videos on the main channel when I was starting out, just as a bit with my friends. But all the pals who worked there worked at food. They told me that working at food was awful, with the exception of just being with the people that you know. It sucked. And I would imagine that's just the atmosphere, though. I mean, the food is fine enough. It's kind of hard to make a burger bad, but I mean, I've seen it been done. I've seen a bad burger in person. I've had a bad burger before. The bread at McDonald's seemed to only change recipes because it used to be way worse. It tastes like a yoga mat. Yeah, I usually order a #1 with a Coke. It makes me feel the most American I possibly can. But again, I really only go there because of others. The only times I've really ever gone there on my own, gone out of my way to just order it because I can, was when I was in high school. There was one like 5 or so minutes away from my house, or on the way back, if I knew I wanted food, or if I was gonna be home alone, or food was on me for the night or the day, I would stop by this one connected to a gas station, and for some reason, no idea why this one did it, this McDonald's would always give extra fries. They would always be perfectly salted. The drinks were simply put crispy. They never disappointed me. I have this reoccurring memory of me getting the typical order, you know, Big Mac, fries, the drink can alternate, but here it was usually a Coke for me. And this was a few years back in October. Weather was perfect fall weather where going outside didn't feel miserable, but at the same time, it would be a disservice not to bundle up with a blanket or something. It was the purest form of unexpected comfort, the best type of comfort, the one where after an extra long day, you make it back and celebrate your time recuperating. I had the McDonald's with me, and yet you gotta remember, this wasn't something McDonald's was responsible for. I went there to get the thing they've been known for, and then I left. I just hit the drive-thru on my way back. My best memory of the location didn't involve the location. They have transformed into office buildings that you get food from. They want you gone. They want you out. I hate that. Honestly, compared to even when I was younger, I would go as far as to say the food has improved. But this is coming from someone who gets irrationally annoyed at the sight of the McDonald's chicken nuggets, and like sliced bag apples always freak me out. I had no idea why it does. It does though. No, the travesty comes from the architecture. This is the part that bothers me. It sucks seeing so many of these other places follow through the same intent in how they look, in theming, and in general vibes. If I'm obligated to enter one of these places, at least make it feel like I want to be there. Like Chipotle, for example, actually does a good job at this, or at least my local one does. It has this nice rustic feeling within it, nothing too aggressive, very relaxed. In-N-Out has this classic diner feel. When I went there back last summer during VidCon, I went to In-N-Out for the first time, and that was just another case where you won't see me there too long, but if I have to get food here, you know, at least make me feel welcome, at least make me feel like you want my money. I am happy to wait here so long as it feels like you want me there. This is such a growing, prominent thing, actually, especially in like this world of being a consumer. The insistence on becoming advanced technology, to modernize, to reach this sleek and cool, edgy, futuristic appearance. And it just rubs me the wrong way a little bit. I love going to more established bar and grills and pubs and tavern-ish places because they have more color, more personality. You actually want to spend money there. You want to spend your time there. You want to invite your friends out of town to come over there because there is something. McDonald's just seems to be like a front runner in this world where you're starting to feel bad spending money or even going out. You hesitate because you know what's out there. Last year, my heart practically broke apart when I went to this mall nearby my hometown. They used to have this large, beautiful holiday setup, especially for Christmas. It was so cool walking in and seeing like this big ass tree. Santa was there. The entire location had decorations up, and it actually felt like you could cherish your time spending money or whatever stupid things your nephew asked for that holiday season, whatever you had to get there. But just like everything, apparently, it's no longer worth it. I just am truly unhappy with this being so prominent, even beyond McDonald's. This is just an insistence not to feel like a community. This is an attempt to mitigate interaction with each other. And ultimately, I think it's gonna do way more harm than good. Being social to other groups, speaking out, taking risks, it feels so much more like it's something we ridicule and fear to normalize, and this is part of the reason why. It's lifeless and really does not need to be. The more gray we intake into the world, the more mundane lifelessness is gonna be extruded from every person who receives that feeling. With locations like this, with the McDonald's chain, we are getting what we give, and that truly sucks. It sucks that it's like this. It sucks that fewer people are willing to show color when they can, and I truly encourage you to try your best subverting this and try to make the most of what you're given. When it comes to McDonald's, it's always been fine. Now it's fine in a different way, but fine isn't fine anymore. Maybe this was just an excuse for me to criticize the general public transitioning to desaturated colors, having a tinge of dullness onto every environment or something, but it's everywhere. AAA games prioritize realism over their realities. Big Hollywood blockbusters look less like colorful adventures of whimsy and fun, and more like a shitty credit card commercial. And in this case, I'm mainly looking at the live-action remakes of animated films being pointless and removing one of the main things so many of these movies are known for. There is a situation with lighting where people just they don't know what to do anymore. Recently with McDonald's beginning to revitalize their classic characters and locations through McDonald's Land, I just find coming back to this, it's a nothing facade. I'm happy seeing Ronald McDonald come back. You would definitely know if you saw the McDonald's video on the main channel. It's just that I keep thinking about new locations, ugly, gray, artificially inhumane locations. This is supposed to be classified as a restaurant, but I keep envisioning it as something more like a food station. And that's the worst part of it all. In my eyes, food is very much something essential as to something we can appreciate, to cherish, to recognize as something vital to our lives, but something we can bond over, something we can hold fondly with each other, something we can recall and talk about and share. When you have a moment that's worthwhile, you'll remember the food you have or the people you share it with. It's an art form, it's a necessity, and it's been something that's transformed into something that never feels right. It doesn't taste right. If you're eating McDonald's or any fast food right now while watching this, you're proving the point that there's no purpose for you to be in the place. It's fallen off because it's transformed to something not even worth considering a restaurant, more akin to something like a fancy stand without much else there. And it could never be my champion Culver's. Culver's is what people on the West Coast describe In-N-Out as. That's just actually what Culver's is. Culver's has been good to me. I will never switch up on my heroes of Burgerland. Hey gang, this is Choopo from the future. Completely forgot that a big reason so many locations like McDonald's do this is because it's easier to sell a building if for any reason they go out of business or need to end operations. Like, it's easier to sell a Pizza Hut building if you don't need to spend a bunch of money to replace the roof. It makes sense on a savings scale, but that doesn't mean we have to like it. In exchange for money being saved, there's a lot being lost in trade, and that doesn't really jive with me personally. But yes, in my eyes, McDonald's has fallen off, and I hope it does better. I don't think it will, but it would be nice. But that's all I got. Subscribe, check out some of my other stuff. Anyway, I'm gonna order some DoorDash because I can't think of a better way to end this video. McDonald's, be better. This is the end now. Put up the end screen. Yeah, put up the